Bite-Sized and Bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks. Inspiration coming at you like a river flowing. Women paving paths, look at them going. Bite-Sized and Bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks.
Welcome. I'm Erin,
And I'm Tammy.
and this is Byte-Sized
Bite-Sized
and
and
Bossy.
Bossy.
Well,
Oh, it's
we
working.
keep doing it. We keep getting better. We're not going to stop. So, welcome to
Once a
Byte-Sized
week.
and Bossy.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, I haven't heard from you. So where were you this weekend? I missed my BFF here.
Well, I took a little me time. Well, me time plus one of my daughters. We went last minute to Miami
What?
and booked a hotel and just laid in the sun and swam, and it was so nice. But will be the first to say I'm not the best at the self-care stuff that everybody preaches. And I think I want to get more into self-care if it's going to be like this.
Listen, if self-care means I get to take weekend trips to Miami or New York,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm all in. Should we start planning our next self-care?
Yeah, no, I'm here for it. Definitely. It was very nice. I mean, I don't look any tanner, but I definitely feel like I am.
You look a little pinkish.
Well, yeah.
What's
So,
your version of tan?
we have an amazing guest today.
Awesome. Who we got?
I had the honor to spend a little bit of time talking to her a few weeks ago. Her name is Kim Russen. And Kim, welcome to Byte-Sized and Bossy. We're so excited to have you here. And Kim is one of the founding partners who has built Tao Group to what it is
Whoa.
today. Really impressive. Really impressive. I'm obviously familiar with them because I spent so many years in Vegas, but really impressive woman who's now doing a ton of consulting after 25 years building an amazing brand. So welcome, Kim. We're excited to have you today. And for those folks who don't know everything about you, will you introduce yourself for them at home listening?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Kim Russen. Like you said, I'm a hospitality executive. I've been in the business for over 30 years. And yes, most recently, Tao Group, really for the last 25 or 26 years. And now I am consulting. I am out there, not part of a group, which is quite unusual for me, but really finding my way in the consulting world and really enjoying it.
How are you finding it to be different than what you did sort of day to day?
It's extremely different, and there are pros and cons to it, and there are things I love about it and things that um, I I like about it. But I think eventually I do want to get back into working full time for a group, and I'll explain why. I mean, consulting is great. You make your own hours. You know everything is on your terms,
Mhm.
but I'm so used to being part of this collaborative team that you feel a part of and a part of a family. And when you're a consultant, you're a little bit of an outsider, and that to me, that's what I loved about the industry, or love about the industry, is that I'm part of something. So I think for now this is wonderful, and it allows me to really take my time to focus and find the absolute right place for me. I was very fortunate to, especially the last 25 years, be working with such wonderful people, and a really family like group, and that's the only way that I would go back into working in a full-time capacity for a company.
Would you want to stay in the nightlife realm? I mean, I did a stint at SBE. I was their head of marketing for about a year and oversaw the restaurants and nightlife verticals. And it is intense. And I remember the people being out into the clubs until the wee hours of the morning, drinking and whatnot. And I was coming in at 9 o'clock in the morning, clipping through the office, and found it really challenging to balance those two things. So, what kind of a job or company do you think you'd want to work for?
That's a really good question. Yeah, for I would say probably the first 10 years of my career at Tao, I had worked in restaurants up until then, and Tao introduced like the nightlife aspect to
Hmm.
my world and really shook it up. And um, and I am like, I'm an early morning person. No matter what time I go to bed, I'm up at the crack of dawn. And so it was very challenging, like you said, being in nightlife. But our restaurants also went very late, and I think it was really just about discipline and not going out afterwards. I mean, I learned my lesson after a couple of years that, like, you can't really do both. So really having that balance and the discipline to go home after you're done working and get up early and really have your routine. A big Soul Cycle fan. I'm a morning gym person. I don't do like any of that after work. I'm a morning person. So I probably got out of nightlife way early on in my career and really focused on the restaurant and lounge and hotel side of Tao Group, and left nightlife to those folks who enjoy that.
Yeah.
That it's so complementary to what I did, but it wasn't my thing. I really enjoyed the restaurant side of our business. So no nightlife, and yes, restaurants. And I'm also open to other aspects, of of this really broad and rich world of hospitality. There's
Hmm.
so much, and it doesn't have to be late nights, that I was so used to for so many years.
Yeah, I mean, I came out of Las Vegas and there's a time and a place for it, but I remember also hitting that point where you go, I can't go out after this. Like I need to go home, and I also had small kids at home. So like talk about that. Like did you have a family while you were
Yeah.
doing all this, or like was it like single and ready to mingle? What was happening?
In the very beginning, it was single and ready to mingle. It was, and that I think that's what kind of like was so exciting for me when I first started out. Like I had never thought I was about getting into this industry. That was never my intention. I was a psychology major undergraduate and went to social work school. I thought I was going to be a social worker. I
You were just a different kind.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, exactly. And I quickly knew that that was not the road for me. And I picked up and left New York. I quit social work school, left New York, and traveled for a bit. And within those travels, the way to make money was really waitressing. I had also done like cater waitressing in high school to make money. So I'd always like dabbled in it as a way to make money, but never thought of it as a career. And when I came back to New York after 2 years of living in Vail, Colorado, and California, I was like, all right, I have to like figure out what I'm doing. And I literally looked through the New York Times, and I kept getting drawn to restaurants, and I applied to a restaurant, and it's still there to this day. I'm in New York City, so it's a place called Doc's, and that's really the first like true restaurant job I had. And I really owe it all to the people there. They saw something in me. They hired me as a manager when I really had no experience as a manager, and I volunteered for everything. I wanted to learn about beverage, so I volunteered to do inventory every Friday.
Oh
Mm.
my
I wanted
God.
to learn,
That's
I just
I don't
painful.
think anyone
but I
volunteers
was
for
just
that.
I
Nobody
was
does
just
that.
young and was just loving every minute of it. But what I loved most was like the energy. Like I walk around the restaurant and I was like, I don't need to go out. Like this is my social life. And it truly became everything. And what winds up happening, I think, after working in restaurants, it like the years just fly by, and great things were happening. I left there, I went to another restaurant, became a general manager, and then I had an opportunity to invest in a restaurant. And in just those years, probably 5 or 6 or 7 years had gone by in a blink of an eye, but I was just loving every minute of it. And what happened to me was, I would date, it was wonderful, but then these guys wanted to go out on a Friday night or Saturday night. I'm like, I don't, I'll see you at midnight.
Yeah.
And so
And
anyone
they're all
else,
insecure because there's other dudes around while you're
yeah,
out. Yep. Hmm.
yes, it's true. And then what would wind up happening is, like, you wind up dating people in the industry, and
Hmm.
that's, a
Yeah.
Did
slippery
you ever date
slope.
a celebrity? Because I know lots of celebrities hung out at your clubs.
No, but no, I didn't, but I dated, he was a baseball player. These
That's a good second. A baseball player is
Yeah,
a good
yeah. I mean,
second.
he was like on the farm team for the Yankees, I think it was. I mean, so long ago now,
Oh
but
my
like,
goodness.
yeah, I got introduced to him through a guest in the restaurant, and we dated a few times, but you know, that's probably as close to celeb as I'll get.
Well, so are you married now? Kids now? Where are you at now?
I am. I'm married. Actually, next month we're going to be married for 18 years.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Yeah, together for over 20. And I have a 16 and a half-year-old son. I have two older stepchildren who are adults and independent on their own now. But I do have a 16-year-old.
Oh, that's amazing. So,
Yeah,
well, if 18 years, but you said you were at Tao for 25, 6 years.
right.
So that means you met this gentleman, whoever it is, after starting Tao. So tell me about that journey. Like, how did you start this? And then, like, having all that hit at the same time, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. But you know what? Like, when I met, his name is Jim, and when I met Jim, I was a few years into Tao at that point, um, and I said, and I was also, uh, you know, well into my 30s, and I said, listen, this is what I do. I kind of got to the point where, like, you like it or not, and you have to just accept it. And I was so fortunate in that he did. And my hours weren't nearly as insane then as they were prior to. And then what would happen is, and we only had one restaurant at the time, so it was quite, calm and tame. And then we really started, a few years into our relationship, expanding, Tao Group, and he was already in, so he really didn't have a choice.
You couldn't
Yeah.
run away now.
And I think deep down, like, he loved, who doesn't love hospitality,
Yeah.
especially being on the outside of it? So I think
Mhm.
he just loved every aspect of it. And he was like, you go do your thing. And I was so fortunate in that I was able to do my thing. And that, even after I had my son, he really, like, when I would do an opening and be gone for a month, or even when I did them in New York, just the crazy, crazy hours, he supported me every way he possibly could. He was the foundation, that was like the constant that was there. I'd be there every morning, and I told you earlier I was like a morning
Hmm.
person, so I'd get home at 2 in the morning, but I got up with my baby every morning. I mean, even to
Oh,
this
That's
day.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, if I can't be there for dinner every night, I have to be there every morning. So that was the trade off, but I would do it all over again.
That
I,
sounds like a really good balance, though. And so, are you one of those people that's reading the like 5 a.m. book and gets up early and does your workout? You spend time with your family, and like you're exhausted by 8 a.m.
um, I think I probably should have written that book, because that's what I used to do.
Yeah, it'd
Right?
be a very different conversation, and you'd be really rich.
I wouldn't be, having to do this consulting thing.
Oh yeah,
um,
work.
Work, work, work. So I think it's just always been my nature. That's just my internal alarm clock goes off every day at like 6 o'clock, and And I like, especially when I was working and I had to really balance everything, get up early, get my son off to school, and then I would just go on my way, go to the gym, and then go right to work.
I need a lot more sleep than what you could have possibly been getting. I don't like
Mm-mm.
kudos to people who have that internal alarm clock. So,
Yeah.
working in these late nights, all this stuff. I mean, you started this that long ago. And in hospitality, being a female in hospitality at that time, especially late restaurants, nightlife, had to have had
Mhm.
some challenges. Like, what did you see or how did you see it evolve over time?
How many times did your ass get grabbed?
Oh my God, Kimmy.
Actually, I was fortunate in that that didn't really happen. I mean, it happened to a lot of my
Mhm.
female, employees, but it was more that that didn't happen, but it was like the remarks or like, oh, could I speak to the boss or who's in charge,
Mm.
or how are you an owner at this restaurant? Did your parents give you the money? It was
Oh,
all of those things. But I don't that doesn't happen these days. Or it happens, probably happens less, but back in those days, in the 90s and early
Mhm.
2000s, it was, yeah, it
so
was
how did you
brutal.
respond to that? Like when people would
Yeah.
say these things or say like, "Well, how are you the boss?" or any of those things, like how would you respond?
So I think in the beginning, probably how I shouldn't have. Like I was, because as taken off guard, and probably trying to exude my authority without. Now it's just a conversation. No one would even ask it. I think it was just that I didn't have the confidence then that I do now. So I would come back with like a smart, remark, or just get angry, or just go into the bathroom sometimes and cry.
Mm,
um, but I think it really took time to um, like let people know that I am in charge without telling them I'm in charge. Because I'd be like, yeah, I'm the boss, I'm in charge with, and now I wouldn't have to say a word, and they would just know. And I also think it's more acceptable to have, and people are know that women are in hospitality now. Back then there were very, very, very few women.
I think that if you wanna look like you're in charge, especially in that space, you just have to hold a clipboard. No joke.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've just walked in holding a clipboard with some junk paper just because then people will think that you are in charge.
You're right, you're so
I'll
right.
make some notes, I'll walk around, say, "Thank you. No, I'm good, I'm good. No, I don't need any help. Awesome." Then ditch the dollar keep, like, clipboard in the trash and you're in the club.
You're right. You're right. I probably should have thought of that, but I didn't. And I was, every night it was,
Mhm.
these sorts of things. And then it, for whatever reason, and I think it was just maturity and years of experience,
mhm,
it changed. And therefore I was able to really work with, especially these young women who had very similar challenges, and who also didn't even really want to be in the industry. They're like, how am I meeting somebody? How am I doing this? How am I managing when I want to have kids? And I'm like, I am living proof that it can happen.
I remember, I had a general manager at Soho House, come up to me and ask like, "Hey, I hear you help people get jobs. Like, how do I get out of this night situation?" He's like, "I'm married now. I have a baby." And my advice to him was go talk to your vendors.
mm,
There's
Yes.
somebody selling you something, right? There, whether it's napkins or liquor. Well, liquor is probably not the best because you'll be working late. But whether it's like the cups or the food or the technology,
mhm.
there's these vendors that really do appreciate the knowledge that you bring to the table. And so I would say that for you as well, as you think about like what you could be consulting on and what some next steps could look like. I think it could be worth looking at the vendor space as well. They could value your consulting.
Yeah, that's very good advice, and thank you. And you're right. I mean, so many former managers
Mhm.
really went into the beverage space, as a salesperson or a manager, and because like you said a little earlier, like you still have a tether to the business, but you're not out until 3 in the morning, and you could still enjoy what you loved about the industry, which is like,
Yeah,
that the energy and the guests and that sort of thing. But I know a lot of people who went into that sector.
that's
And then I'm
awesome.
thinking, yeah, then I'm also thinking about perhaps getting on some boards.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I'm going to
How do
start
you do that?
exploring that. You
How do you
tell
do
me.
that?
I would love to know.
Okay, everybody. She wants to be on a board. She's got 25 years of experience at a very successul global hospitality group. So call
Mhm.
her,
Please,
then
yes.
call me.
Yeah. You
Right.
guys
Well,
are
we'll do
fun.
it together.
I would love to be on a board too. It's one of my next goals. So if you figure it out, please come back and share it with us and share it with our audience.
I will. I will for sure.
So in this industry, it sounds like you spend a lot of time mentoring or helping, maybe whether you knew it or not, a lot of women that were looking up to you as you continued your career. When they came to you and said, this happened or that happened, or where do I go from here? What was your advice to them? How did you tell them to move forward if something was either said inappropriately or they said, I want to do something else, or I don't know if I can take this any longer?
Yeah. I mean, there are some where I was like, all right, we had to like really break it down, and we had to start making lists, like what do you love about the industry.
Mm,
And if they didn't love like the human aspect of it, and because a lot of people just got through the ranks of the
Hmm.
business because what was next, right? They
mhm.
weren't going to be a server anymore. They didn't really know what they wanted to do next, so the next natural step was a manager. And but a lot of people didn't really love that. They just did it as a means
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
really getting a paycheck. And so you have to explore that first. But if they really wanted to stay in the industry, and I really wanted to retain as many women as possible at Tao Group, because I really, that aspect of the group, I mean, it was when I first started filled with men in every position of power. And I really wanted some women executives and vice presidents.
Yes.
And so my advice to them would be, let's explore what you do love about it. And what was the beautiful part of Tao was that we were growing, and as we were growing, we were able to um, um, give positions to people that they didn't have to go elsewhere in the past. Like if they wanted to, be a general manager or vice president, they would, in the very beginning, they would have to leave Tao because there was nothing for them. But we had corporate positions, we had sales positions, so we were able to really allow people to explore what they wanted, and then also to stay within the company. And that was great. And if they didn't want to, I helped them get a job elsewhere.
Mhm.
And because we knew so many people in the industry. But it was really having those conversations and really digging deep. And I felt that way throughout my career at times, where I was like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing
Yeah.
this? And so I understood where they were coming from, because it is physically and emotionally a tough industry on the operations side of
I agree. So when you started this and you have the 16 and a half years ago, a new baby, and you mentioned earlier that sometimes you had to go out of town for a month at a time to open a new location or a new spot. Did you have a tribe of people helping, or is just like your husband like
He has six
Mr. Do It All?
arms. He has six arms.
it.
Yeah.
He's Mrs.
So
Doubtfire.
yes, no, he's wonderful, but no, he's not Mrs. Doubtfire. I actually had a nanny at basically all times to really help, during the days. And then fortunately, my husband, would come home at 5 o'clock, and then he would take over.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, I actually had really wonderful help. Like every woman who works, a lot, um, this is what you do, and this is what you need.
Mhm.
And I unfortunately did not have the luxury of having parents around to help. So, and my sister, I have a sister and brother, but they didn't live locally. So I really counted on my husband, my best friends, and really my nannies to help with my son.
That's Team Kim. That's what we call that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Team Kim. They're
And
all
really
there
good
to help you.
schools. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a girlfriend who someone had asked her, like, how is it balancing all this stuff as a mom? And she was like, it's not that hard. I looked at her, I said,
Well,
excuse me, you have a nanny
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have this,
yeah.
and you have a maid, you have a nanny, you have family. So, okay, now
Yeah,
let's
you need a
imagine you
team.
didn't have
You really need a
those.
team around you.
But I
Um,
also think this idea that we can literally do everything at 100% is some people put that out there. Like, I
Mhm.
can do this. I can raise my kids. I can be present 100% of the time everywhere.
They're
And it's just not
liars.
true. Right.
it is
And so I
not
think it's
true.
important. And Kim, like kudos to you for saying, yeah, I had people to help me. I had great schools. I had a nanny. I had a husband. I had people because truthfully, you can't do it all at
Mm-mm.
100% at the
No.
same time.
No, and there were days where like I was like I am a failure as a mother, and then other
No.
days where I'm like I'm a failure at work. Like you have those days and you have those thoughts, and someone once said to me, "Is like there's always the next day. You're never going to be like
Mhm.
you said. You're never going to be 100% every day, and
Yeah.
we're human, and the wonderful thing is that your kids don't know the difference when they're that young, and they're forgiving. And what I did was I really focused on not the number of hours that I was with him, but the time I was with him, and really like I put down my phone and devoted the time that I was with him, and to make the most of it, because the hours were very, very limited in the early years.
What would be the advice you would give to somebody, like if you were hiring your younger self, what would be the advice that you'd give you before you took that job?
Wow.
I just came up with that one. It's good, huh?
That is a really
I'll
good
buy you some time
question.
while you're thinking about it. Guys, we're gonna have to remember this one and use it again.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Um, I would say, really figure out how to be confident. And I don't want to say like fake it till you make it, but I was
Mhm.
like this open book, and I wore my emotions on my face, and I would probably say to have like a little bit thicker skin, and you know dig deep to find that confidence, because I feel like when you're vulnerable, they
Mhm.
um, really like hone in on that, and
Mhm.
and they will hurt you. So I think it's really gaining that confidence, but I did it my way, and I found people who really believed in me, and they before I even believed in myself truly, and they helped me really get through. And then I felt like I started giving back, because I didn't want these young people to get like disenchanted with
Yeah.
the hospitality world. So I felt like it was my opportunity to give back to these young folks and say it'll be okay. You just have to push through if this is what you want.
Yeah,
Are you sure you want
exactly.
this?
Yeah, it's not the easiest industry. So
No.
having a little bit of that, I call it the mom tough love approach of like, if you want this, here's what it's going to have to take. And,
Mhm.
I'm going to be behind you, helping push you up the hill, but you're going to have to go get up this hill. And I think that's really great advice and great feedback. Tammy, I think it's time for some food for thought.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh,
So,
great mind.
Already?
Yeah, I know. We've covered so much though. Yeah.
time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
So I always like to ask people what their favorite restaurant is, and it could be a chain, it could be an independent, just basically to give a shout out to another restaurant company in
But
the
not one that
industry.
you've worked for.
Yes, should
Right.
not
So
be
that's
Tao.
that's hard, right? Because there's so many. But um, so there have been like two places and what's the beauty of like not working every day at Tao is that I don't feel the need like I used to feel the need on a night off to go there. I'd be like to say to my friends, "Do you want to go to one of our places?" Because I, want to
Yep.
like, have the guest
Show off.
experience
Yep.
Mhm.
and right.
Yep. Get it.
And so now I'm like, going out to a lot of different and fun restaurants, but I'm very attracted to like because we were such big box restaurants, but
Hmm.
like the smaller, more intimate. I love a restaurant called L'Artusi. It's in the West Village. There's another restaurant called Alice or Alice,
Hmm.
and that is, I guess, in like the Chelsea area. And
Okay.
they're both like small, intimate restaurants, always packed, fresh ingredients, consistent, and you get great service. So those are two of my favorites right now.
Now I'm hungry. It's yeah, it sounds amazing. All right, so we know you work out. You've told us that, and family time. But what else are you doing? What hobbies, guilty pleasures do you partake in that
That's like
aren't?
6 questions all in one.
Sorry, I have a
Wow.
lot. I'm like, there's so much to ask.
I love, love, love to travel. Even my early days, like I would, when you had like 2 weeks off and that was it, I would leave on the first flight out, that night of getting off of work and then come back like the night before I had to go back to work because travel is in my DNA. I just love it. Exploring new places, and now I love doing it with my family. Um, and I love scuba diving.
Hmm.
I'm a scuba diver, and my son's gotten certified now. So
Wow.
it's a well, my husband doesn't because he gets like claustrophobic, but it's something I could do with my son.
Hmm.
Since my husband has like the golf and all the sports stuff, so it's something I could do with him.
So,
That's so
where's your
cool.
next scuba diving destination? Where would you like to go next that you haven't been?
Uh,
Soliciting, by the way, for people who want to send her there and she can like blog about it or something.
oh my, there are a ton of places. I mean, eventually I'd love to go to Australia and
Oh.
and dive the Great Barrier Reef. But that's eventual. I haven't been to Hawaii to scuba dive yet. We have friends who we do go with, and they went on a trip without us and saw unbelievable sea life in Hawaii.
That's
So
so
maybe
cool.
Hawaii next. Yeah,
Yeah,
So
that's
cool.
awesome.
Tammy, didn't
yeah.
Olga, who was on our podcast, she scuba dived too, right?
She's a big scuba diver and she's gone all over the world
Yeah.
and she does it by herself. I don't think her husband
Oh wow,
participates and that's like
like
her
me.
getaway activity. But
Yeah.
someone in the industry who would actively be looking for people to go with if you're interested. She's awesome.
Okay, I
Yeah.
would love that.
That's amazing. All
Yeah.
right, Tammy, I think it's your turn.
I thought I just asked where she was going to go, but I will take
Oh,
more.
all right.
Okay.
Keep
What's
going.
your favorite music or band? Because these are all things I care about.
Oh, I'm a rocker from, you know, rock rock and roll is my music.
Okay.
Probably Bruce Springsteen's my favorite. Um, and yeah, any rock. My husband and I are huge live music fans,
Hmm.
so
Oh,
we go to as many concerts as we can.
what was
We
your
had
last concert?
um big one was Coldplay this summer. We went to Boston to see
You weren't the one
Coldplay.
caught with somebody like canoodling or anything?
We were there the night before. We got so many text messages about it.
That's
So
super
yeah,
funny.
Coldplay, and we both like the Grateful Dead, although
Mhm.
obviously, they're not the Grateful Dead anymore, but we see a lot of like Grateful Dead cover bands, and we went to the Sphere to
I
see
was gonna
Dead and
ask if you did the
Company. Oh
sphere,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool.
I have
Well,
What
friends that
kind of
went and
music
bought
do
4
you like?
nights.
yeah, Tammy, what's your
Oh,
music?
well, let's see, I love Madonna and Lady Gaga and lots of pop
Oh,
stuff. I love
I saw Lady Gaga. I forgot about that.
I
I
didn't
saw
see
it
the
too.
most
It was
recent
The
show,
most
but
unbelievable.
recent.
I've
Yeah.
seen every other tour. I flew to Vegas to see her.
Mhm.
I've seen Dua Lipa, but I also love rock. So I've seen the Foo Fighters a gazillion times. I've seen
Fun.
tons of indie bands. I went to 15 Coachellas. Like I love music. So
Very cool.
I
Oh, so
just
we should
bought,
hang out.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just bought tickets to see Lola Young. She sings that song Messy. I really
Yeah.
love it.
I don't know it.
And
Can you sing it for me, Tammy?
I mean, I can't grab my phone to remember the lyrics, but she got a British accent and she says something like, you say I'm messy and so I clean up, and then you say I don't do that right either, and I forget all the words.
Well, now I have to listen to it, but that's
Well,
awesome.
I think we should just like stream it in the
Uh,
podcast.
we'll
Let's see.
we'll tell the producer to put it on
Okay.
there, so now we'll all know it.
Let's see. Okay, here it goes. Cause I'm too messy, then I'm too fucking
Oh,
clean.
yeah.
You told me get a job, then you ask where the hell I've been. And I'm too perfect till I open my big mouth. I want to be me. Is that not allowed? And I'm too clever, then I'm too fucking dumb.
Oh
I
my
love
I
goodness.
know that
this
song. My
I don't
husband
think I've
actually
ever
likes
heard
that
it.
song.
I
December
now wanna
6th,
hear it.
Los Angeles, if anybody else wants to go.
That's amazing. Well, Kim, you are unbelievable. Hearing from you, learning about you, you are someone that I think is going to help a lot of people that listen to this. You might get a lot of people reaching out going, "Hey, just listen to your podcast and like I want to chat too," because you have such a wealth of history and knowledge that I think a lot of people can learn from. And especially now that you're consulting, I think what a great opportunity for people to be able to learn and work with you. So, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you, and really loved getting to know you more. And then for anyone at home who doesn't follow us, like us, I don't actually know why that would be the case, but if you could like, subscribe, follow, all the things,
All
smoke
the
signals,
things.
rate
Yeah.
us. We
Yeah.
like, we prefer
Send
5
checks.
stars. Yeah.
Send checks.
Yes. Also just reach out. Like we like to hear from you too, which is wonderful. And we are always surprised when someone says, I listen to your podcast, and we get really excited about that. So,
It's so
um,
cool.
and we wouldn't be where we are without the people listening. So thank you. And thanks to Kim today. This is Bite Size and Bossy.
Bite-sized and bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks. Inspiration coming at you like a river flowing. Women paving paths, look at them going.